Welcome to a new deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're doing something a bit specific. We're not just talking about a film. We're diving deep into one person's experience of it.
Right.
Our source material is a review from Moviescramble, written by Mary Munoz, and it focuses on Jonathan Kent's film adaptation of Long Day's Journey into Night.
That's right. This review, it captures her perspective, right after its UK premiere. That was at the Glasgow Film Festival back in February 2025.
Okay.
So our mission isn't really to judge the film ourselves, but to unpack her specific take, what she saw, what moved her, what she felt were the key parts of this adaptation.
The performances, the atmosphere, all that.
Exactly.
Think of it like a guided tour through the review itself. We're pulling out the threads she found most compelling.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with some context she provides. The review notes this is Jonathan Kent's adaptation, shot back in 2022, but just now seeing its UK premiere.
And it's based on Eugene O'Neill's play, absolutely legendary four-act play, published after his death, 1956. Won a Pulitzer, of course. A real cornerstone of American theater.
And Mary Munoz, the reviewer, points out this play has a rich history on screen and stage.
Oh, definitely.
Adapted 5 times before for TV and film, plus, those multiple award-winning runs on Broadway and the West End.
So this adaptation steps into some pretty big shoes.
Big shoes indeed.
Right.
Okay, shifting to the story itself, as the review describes it. The setting is 1912.
Right.
And the focus is entirely on the Tyrone family. So, Mary, her husband James, and their sons Jamie and Edmund.
All over the course of a single fateful day.
And the core narrative arc, according to Mary Munoz, is stark. You're basically watching this family slowly disintegrate.
Hour by hour, yeah. And she really emphasizes the specific points of breakdown. Tempers flaring, addictions spiraling.
That return of intergenerational trauma she mentions.
Right, and all those old, unrealized ambitions surfacing. It sounds like she felt the weight of it all pretty deeply.
It does. And
Yeah.
she adds this atmospheric detail. The whole thing unfolds against the gathering fog off the Connecticut coast.
Yeah, she said that adds yet another layer of mood.
Right. It sounds like she saw the setting itself kind of mirroring the internal state of the family, not just wallpaper.
Absolutely. So one of the areas the review really digs into is the performances.
Yeah.
And Jessica Lange, as Mary, is clearly a central figure in Mary Munoz's take. She calls Lange a powerhouse right from the start.
Powerhouse is a strong word. And the reviewer backs it up, describing Lange as commanding attention, rippling with an anxious energy.
An energy that impacts everyone around her, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What seemed to stand out to Mary Munoz were the physical manifestations of this anxiety.
Oh, interesting. What specifically?
Constantly fixing her hair, wringing her hands, those nervous glances she mentions, accusing others of staring.
Right.
It sounds like she felt Lange really captured the restlessness of the character physically.
And it's not just one note, apparently. The reviewer was struck by the nuance. She describes Mary as pathetic, frustrating, loving, and childlike, all at once.
So, suggesting Lange avoided a simple villain portrayal, she leaned into the complexity O'Neill wrote.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. And the review highlights Mary's preoccupation with the past. That mix of nostalgia and disappointment.
Yeah.
And her rambling soliloquies, as Mary Munoz calls them, they seem key to building empathy for a character who could easily just come across as frustrating.
That image the reviewer paints. Lange's Mary, wandering creaky corridors with her hair loose, searching for a lost life. It's incredibly poignant.
It really is. It tells you a lot about the performance she witnessed.
Yeah.
And the emotional portrayal sounds intense. The review notes her loneliness is palatable through choked, high-pitched sobs, presenting what Mary Munoz calls a shell of a woman. And she adds it's almost hurtful to watch.
Almost hurtful to watch. That really underscores the impact Lange's performance must have had on her.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to Ed Harris as James Tyrone. Mary Munoz describes him as a capable co-lead.
Yeah, capable co-lead. And in the reviewer's view, Harris really embodies this former actor through his whiskey-soaked reminiscences.
Okay.
She sees in him this mix of bruised ego and artistic fragility, and she ties his current state back to his past.
And the review connects James's adult life choices, like being accused of skimping on health care, back to his poverty-stricken childhood. It's interesting how Mary Munoz draws that line, between the past deprivation and the present-day parsimony.
It is. And what's fascinating here is how the reviewer identifies one specific moment as profoundly tragic.
Which one?
James's agonizing monologue about his career. She even mentions the visual framing of it, sepia-toned lighting over a cigar and a game of cards.
Oh, right.
That detail, it makes you feel like you were almost sitting there with the reviewer watching it unfold.
Yeah, vivid. Okay, then there are the sons. Jamie, played by Ben Foster, and Edmund by Colin Morgan.
Right. And Mary Munoz feels they do an excellent job supporting Lange and Harris.
So supporting roles, but strong ones.
Seems so. Her take on Jamie, as played by Foster, is that he's arrogant and crude, content to do the least amount of work and the most amount of spending possible. A pretty sharp assessment from the review.
Ouch. While Morgan's Edmund is, of course, ill with consumption, the reviewer alludes to this, mentions blood-spattered handkerchiefs.
Yeah, grim detail.
And carries that burden of feeling unwanted by his mother. It sounds like she saw him as, well, physically and emotionally weighed down.
Definitely. And what Mary Munoz seemed to really home in on was the dynamic within the family.
How so?
Noting that both sons appear to want, an honest conversation about the family's deep dysfunction.
But they can't have it.
Well, not easily. The ingrained social etiquette dictates a lack of honesty until the whiskey bottle is open.
Ah, okay.
She highlights alcohol as this catalyst, almost the only permission structure for truth in this family, right?
Yeah, that's a really potent observation she pulls out.
Mm-hmm.
The reviewer also had some interesting things to say about how Jonathan Kent brought this play to the screen, the direction.
Yeah, the adaptation choices.
One point she makes is keeping the drama to that single location, just like the play.
And she felt this wasn't just like a practical choice. For her, it adds yet another layer of intensity.
Right. Forcing the viewer into that stifling space with the family's unraveling. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mary Munoz also praised the use of close-ups. Said they were exquisitely done.
To show what?
Things like agony, exhaustion, nostalgia, and lost dreams. It suggests the camera work felt really intentional, very revealing to her.
And she noted the visual framing, too, how it could be intimate sometimes.
Like a picture frame, yeah. Emphasizing distance between characters. It sounds like the visual language was really key for her in conveying relationships and internal states.
And the house itself, did that register?
Oh, yeah. She described it as almost a character, creaking under the weight of the secrets. And she mentions the color palette, mahogany, sage, and taupe, suggesting it keeps things kind of muted, neutral against the huge personalities in the drama. Interesting contrast. She also gives credit to the writer, David Lindsay Abaire, states he did a great job of translating the play.
That's crucial for an adaptation, isn't it? How well the language and structure survive the jump to screen.
Absolutely. And an interesting detail she picked up on was the lack of score.
No music.
Well, beyond Mary's attempts at playing the piano, she says there's absolutely no score. And she sees this not as an absence, but as an invitation for the viewer to kind of wallow in the silence, or maybe strain to hear subtle sounds like trembling footsteps.
So the sound design, or maybe the lack of it, was a powerful element for her.
It really sounds like it was. Very intentional.
Okay, so pulling all these observations together from the review, what was Mary Munoz's final assessment? Her bottom line?
Overall, her take is that Long Day's Journey into Night is well worth the watch.
Okay, recommendation then.
Yeah. And she specifically recommends immersing yourself in the perfectly crafted dialogue and what she calls the phenomenally fragile performances.
Singling out Lange and Harris again.
Yes, singling them out again for a particular praise.
Right. So what does this deep dive into Mary Munoz's review really tell us? It paints this adaptation as, well, an intense claustrophobic character study.
Yeah, definitely. Where the power comes from, the actors embodying O'Neill's famously raw dialogue.
In particular, Jessica Lange's deeply felt performance as Mary, based on this review.
It seems she experienced it as a painful, almost voyeuristic look at a family just tearing itself apart.
Amplified by those deliberate directorial choices, she noted the single location, the strategic close-ups.
And that impactful use of silence, yeah.
It's clear from her review that she felt the film successfully translated the play's core emotional intensity and tragic themes to the screen.
Focusing on the kind of tangible weight of the family's buried history and their present agony. And that leads us to a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Something inspired by the profound themes Mary Munoz highlighted in her review of this film.
Okay.
How much of a family's reality is truly lived in the spoken words? Versus, that vast echoing silence, the part filled with unspoken traumas, buried secrets, and maybe the ghosts of unrealized pasts. How quickly can that weight just crush everything? Sometimes, as this story suggests, maybe in the space of a single day.
Something to ponder indeed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into a reviewer's perspective on a classic story.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.